Todd, what's going on in the last few weeks?
Well, the kind of the shuffling of players a little bit, when I'm taking a look at different things that are going on, but the main thing for us right now is our inability to stop the run. And I look at that and I say that to me is my job, the coaching part of it, be gap sound, physicality, but that part of it is really, I think when you look at the last 2 weeks and you say to yourself, like, what is happening here? In the past we've made people one-dimensional. And when you don't make people one-dimensional and they can run the football, that opens up everything else. So that to me, it starts with that, and then third down too. Third down, now this game a little bit different because there was a lot of third and shorts, but in the last couple weeks it's been, get off the field, have an opportunity to get off the field, we're not getting it done.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, Justice Hill, though, was getting around the edges and kind of getting a running start and going.
Yeah.
But Petaway was just running through people.
Yeah, well, some of it, like I said beforehand, guys getting cut out of gaps, linebackers not filling gaps. When a ball does pop on us, getting it on the ground, which we've been pretty good at around, but, we work like crazy. It wasn't one of these things where it's, we addressed all these issues with it, but we just got knocked around a little bit.
One of those things, Coach, where you still have confidence in your scheme, but it's kind of hard to do stuff if guys are missing tackles, making wrong assignments, and it's kind of hard to even implement the scheme when guys make mistakes.
Well, purposely in the game versus West Virginia, tried to slow it down for them. Once you start giving up big plays, as a play caller, you have to do that. You go back to bread and butter. But there were still some things during that part of it that, like I said, popping out of gaps, missing responsibilities, and to me that goes back to coaching. That's on me. And I'm like I said beforehand, you got some guys that are in there. It's never an excuse in this program. The way that we have to do it is go back to practice habits and go back to looking ourselves in the mirror, me especially, and saying we got to get this fixed. That's coaching. The players, these guys care about football, and we got to work like crazy to get this right. And I will say this. It's a collection of things. It's not just pinpointed at a certain area or person. It's just breakdowns from different spots. And we got to get better at just the consistency. So when I look at consistency, I always say to myself, well, are you doing too much? So that was the first thing that I thought during the game was like, let's slow this thing down a little bit. And then as we go into game plan for Tech, it's like, okay, let's hone in on this stuff, make sure we get everybody fitted up the right way, and make sure we solidify this run game. That's my biggest thing for this week.
How do you balance pass rushers like Menahu and Hager when he's healthy in the 4-eye versus playing him?
Well, it like I said beforehand, there's advantages of playing in 4-eye in terms of the run game. So I always look at it this way because I know where you're going with this, Chip, is if people can run the football on us, then we'll have, in my opinion,
you won't have any.
Yeah, we won't have to worry about them throwing the football because we'll never see a throw. And that's, I don't know exact numbers with Okie State, but it was in the high 40s. West Virginia is getting to, they're getting up there in the 40s, and nobody's done that to us beforehand. So, in my opinion, off of that, it starts with stopping the run. If we put them into predictable passing situations, then you're going to see a Menahu and those guys. You'll see them off the edge. You'll see us pressure more. But I'm not going to let the kids get out there and just take 7 yards a run. That was probably more I was disappointed than anything else, is you got into it and saying, okay, what if we do this? Well, we're getting 7 yards a run. I mean, it's real easy to turn around. It's hard to screw up handing a football off. So it begins with that. I think if you take a look at early in the season, you look at some of the things that we've done, they all came from us controlling the run game. I've come in here quite a few times and said I was really proud of the way we controlled the run game. We were able to get after them in the pass game, and that's how it starts. In the last 2 weeks, it hasn't been that way. And I'm not going to let our guys get out there and just bleed out. I mean, that's the worst thing possible is go out there and just let somebody just hammer the football at you. And unfortunately for us, that's what happened on Saturday. I won't be grown up and tell you exactly how I felt about it.
You're a pressure guy, though.
Yeah.
And in late game situations, you've been rushing 3, dropping.
Yeah, that in that situation right there, I was thinking it was the touchdown they threw and scored on But 2 plays off of that, we sent a corner fired, and Chris almost got to the quarter. Yeah, almost got to the quarterback. Then we went into zone because it was short, and I knew they were going to try to get the first down. And then we tried to throw another corner fire at it, and they split us. So, in those situations, they're kind of, that clock was rolling, and I'm saying to myself, like, at this point right now, is this where you want to try to get somebody else to the quarterback? They were maxing up, so it was just one of those decisions.
Coach said on Monday that because of the quarterback Tech might play, y'all may go with more nickel. Might y'all do that going forward, even after Tech?
Yeah, I think you'll see. Yeah, I think you'll see that. We did that during the game in WVU. You saw Jeff out there quite a bit during the game because we had to get heavier. Because Josh was out there, which it's normally PJ out there. With PJ has a little bit more punch to him, so Josh was out there. So we went in and put Jeff in there, and I think what we'll end up doing is matching up more personnel groupings too. I think the one guy that I really like what he's done so far in the last couple of weeks is Joe Asai. Joe's another guy that I think can get out in the mix and be a guy that can set edges for us. So I'm excited for Joe too. I plan on trying to get him out there this week.
And it's easier to do that because Iowa State and Kansas, I know you may have not have gotten to them but that defense, your defense kind of is more built to have the B-backer against those guys.
Yeah, well, I think it's the same thing. I mean, if Tech's watching us on film right now, there's no doubt that they're going to say, we're going to run a football versus these guys. I mean, it's on film. That's the hard part for me to swallow, is that's on, forever. So they're going to look at that film and they're going to say to themselves, like, do we want to spread these guys out and throw the ball every snap, or do we want to line up just like the last 2 teams did and run the ball at them and see if they figured this thing out? So we're not going to sit here and just beat my head against the wall. We're going to put heavier bodies in there and get this solidified.
To build off what he's asking, though, I mean, Duffy looked really shaky at times, second half of OU. Does that make him more, I don't want to say unstable, but he could be all or nothing type of a guy?
No, well, I think if I'm them, I'm going to use some QB run game. That's what I would do. I mean, we anticipate seeing that, but I'm telling you, there are some spots in there he throws really, really good balls. So that's what we're planning for. We plan on seeing run game traditional because, I mean, honestly, Tech was the first one, dating back last year, that really a wide stretch team. That was their baby. So they ran it almost every snap versus us last year. Now all these people are starting to get into wide stretch.
And wide splits.
Yeah, correct. And they're starting to do that a lot more, and it's a little bit of a copycat league,
right.
Where people see, certain plays that work versus, 4 eyes. They like it and they want to run it. Mm-hmm. But these guys this was their bread and butter run play last year. So we know we'll see it to test us, and I'm sure that we'll see more QB run game just because it's good stuff for them.
Have you considered going more to 4-down linemen in an effort to try to fix some of those issues, or do you think you can fix those?
Well, I think twofold. I think we can fix the issues. It's technical. It's fundamentals. That can be fixed. But with Jeff McCulloch being in the game, it gives us the ability to do that, to answer your second part of it. When you're in that lightning package, you can't take one of the smaller DBs and put them at the line of scrimmage. But with Jeff, you can do that. So,
but like even in the 3-point stance, you did that with Nashon a little bit.
Yeah, we did it with Nashon and Jeff. It depends on comfort level. Some of these guys like to stand up and be able to play it. Some guys are used to putting their. Nate was one of those guys that could put his hand in because he had some. Before we got here, he was part of a 4-down scheme, so he was used to it. So it's their preference. So it's not necessarily. It goes back to personnel. Like you'll see us out there with nickel with Jeff in there, and the lightning package is built for DBs. So if Jeff is out there, we sure have the ability to go 4 down.
Is BJ
Time for 2
healthy?
last ones.
BJ
What's that?
Foster?
Yeah, he's good.
Todd, when you went back and watched the film, what did you think of Malcolm and his return? And how did you evaluate Coburn and Ojimo with the little thing?
Yeah, Malcolm, for the amount of practice reps that he got, and got ready in like a day and a half. So I was really proud of him, because it's a stamina deal too to go along with. And Malcolm's he's a soldier now. So I was impressed because we sat down, myself and Oscar sat down. We were like, what do you think? We think probably 10, 15 tops. And he gave us 25. 25 pretty decent ones. He can get better. We know that. Coburn, I thought, played well. And Ojimo, I thought both guys were out there. Coburn came up to me, Coach, this is fun. I was like, yeah, it's fun for you, I guess. So, you come off to the sidelines. But that's how young kids are, and it's what a great opportunity to get those guys in the ball game. Great new role to be able to put those guys in because we sure need them now.
Real quick.
Next one.
The thing about the last 2 weeks, when you boil it all down, it came down to y'all needed just one stop.
Yeah.
And do you stress that to the guys?
Yeah, it's
all this craziness. This is all you need.
Yeah,
is one stop.
That's the part that's that's haunting for me. I think anybody that does this for a living, that goes down to like those plays, like I'm going to see this when I'm 70 years old. It's those type of plays. But we do talk to the guys all the time to be able to take everything off the plate. Like I try to tell them at the end of the game with the 2-point play, it's like, hey man, don't worry about anything that's going on. We got one play. That's all we got to get done right now. So we got to learn how to finish. That's when we had the game versus Baylor, which we did get it done, and then we had the last 2 weeks where it was like, get the ball back to the offense in Oak State, and then this is us right here. It doesn't matter what the score is. It doesn't matter how many yards they have. One play and we win the ball game. So we stress it. We continue to stress it, and like I said before, I'm very, very disappointed of and that play is that's a tough one to swallow for myself.
Thanks, Todd.
Good.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir.
it.
That's funny. I get us going. Tim, I think it was last year. Tom at one point said that when y'all got here, you first weren't sure how to use LJ. Because he could do so many things. Like, what's he the best at, or whatever.
Right.
And I wonder, when did y'all kind of zero in on a plan for him, and when did he respond by elevating his game and it all coming together?
Yeah, I think kind of thinking back spring, you saw the work ethic he was putting in practice, and you saw how hard he was working, and then the plays he was making. So we're like, you know what, we need to get him on the field. Last year we had a ton of guys playing in that slot position.
Right.
He was in there some. He was an outside receiver some. We kind of settled in on, hey, here's what we're going to do. Let's have two big bodies on each side of the field a lot of time, and see how they match up, because he is a tough matchup. So we kind of ventured in that direction, and it's paid off so far.
It looks like that Sam, Andrews is a security blanket, it looks like, but he really can throw it up in the zip code of LJ, and he'll go get it.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know. I know LJ is his guy. And if he's in duress, I think he's going to look for him first.
Really?
I think Beck may tell you it's him, but I don't know that.
That's to their roommates, that's all.
Yeah. He may threaten him. But, I think really when Sam's back there, and I think if things go down, I think he knows where he's at.
Yeah.
I think LJ has a really good knack of understanding coverage, leverage, where I need to be, and him and Sam are on a really good connection right now. Although I sense that with Cullen as well.
Sure.
And Beck, really. And, it goes back to last year. I mean, we started 3 or 4 different slots. We started different wideouts all the time. We've kind of settled in offensively up front and out there, and so they've been able to build chemistry, and I think that's been something that's helped as well.
Cool.
You guys have kind of had a committee at running back all year, but Trey started, and he was kind of the guy for the first couple weeks, and then Keontae shined, and then Trey responds with a really good game last week. So how does it feel to see those jumps and know that you have 2 really reliable guys compared to what you guys had last year in the running game?
Yeah, and we talked about that. It's a big difference because you have depth, number one. Number two, you have guys competing, so they're constantly improving. It had been very easy for Trey to take a back seat and say, okay, Keontae's a guy, I'm going to pout or I'm going to do whatever. But he didn't. He worked really hard, and it paid off for him. And Danny's in that same area. Like, he's really working hard and improving, and if we got to play him, you feel good about putting him in the game. So it's great to have all those guys. It really is. And it's a tribute to Stan, you know, coaching those guys, keeping them all, because, I mean, there's only one football, and you can't get it to everybody. So to keep those guys engaged, to keep them improving and working hard, and because you need everybody in a long, grueling season like this.
Do you feel like this offense is kind of finally hitting its stride and clicking on all cylinders like you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting there. I think, you know, we got to continue to not hurt ourselves with penalties right now. That's kind of one of the things that I keep addressing with the group. We've been better at ball security, obviously, but sometimes, you know, we'll make a play and we get a penalty, or we knock ourselves off rhythm, and then it's sometimes tough to recover from that.
Can you kind of take us through the play calling process now? How many of the plays, like during games, are coming from you? How much of that is coming from Tom Herman?
It's like committee. I mean, Herb Hand will say stuff. Drew Maringer will say stuff. Hey, I see this. We had to do this. I mean, it's just kind of that. I mean, we game plan that way. There's a you know, call sheet, for lack of a better term. Here's what we like to do on 3rd and 1. We have these 3 plays. So you could call the plays because it's on a sheet of paper, and all you had to do is say, this is the one I like. You know, we make adjustments at halftime. We all do. We all go in there, and, you know, Derek Wareheim and Herb handle most of the run. Let's do this, or change this guy, and, you know, do that. And Drew and I do a lot of the pass, and you know, just we sit in a room and, hey, Tom, this is what we're seeing. This is what we think could work and be good. And he'll come back and say, I like this better, or what about doing this, or send this guy in motion, and we make those adjustments.
Do you feel more comfortable now? Last year you said that you're pressing. You know, what has gone into that level of comfort that
Well,
you have now?
we're better. I mean, in all areas we've improved, but we've also improved in our knowledge, right? So you call a pass protection last year, you hope the quarterback gets us in the right protection. Now I know he is. Like, it's rare that he won't get us in the right protection, which means what? Well, he's not. We're gonna protect him because the guys up front will do a good job. But last year, if we didn't protect it right, it may not have been the offensive line. It may have been on the quarterback didn't call the right protection. We gave up a sack. So then, you know, there's doubt on, okay, what protection should we call, or how do we need to do this? And it just kind of builds. Now you know, because the players get it, and they communicate. But even up front, they'll override it, or Sam may override them, or here, we got this pass route. Oh, they left the guy uncovered. He, you know, throws the ball to that guy. I didn't call that, but he was smart enough to be like, hey, man, nobody's guarding you. And he raises up and throws the ball to him. We gain 6 yards. Like, that's really smart football. But we weren't doing that last year. It was like, here's the play, I got to run this play. So it makes it, you know, there's a lot more safety valves to it because they understand the game more.
This
Go ahead.
past game, it seemed, whereas for much of the season, Keontae may look like he has a better game than Trey.
Right.
This past game, Trey probably had a better game than Keontae. Is it a testament to the quality of your running backs or the quality of your offensive line that either guy can jump up and have a good game on the ground?
I think it's both. I think they have a lot of confidence in the offensive line and what Coach Hand's done, and Derek with the tight ends, and I think those guys have done a great job. So I think no matter what back we play, I think they have confidence, and that's where it starts because they run hard. They're not trying to find the hole. They trust that if I'm supposed to hit that A gap, they're going to block it this way, and that A gap's going to be open, and so they run hard and hit it. So I think that's a big tribute to them. And conversely, that line knows if we get on our guys, these guys are going to hit it, and they're going to hit it hard, and they're not going to dance around and that type of thing. So again, and that goes back to what I said earlier. It's just being here another year and being in the offense another year, and I can't explain. It's like it'd be like you starting a job for the first time. You're trying to figure out where's the men's room.
Right.
Like, and then afterwards you're running the whole thing. Like, it's hard to explain, but it happens even in football.
Tim, when you go in on Sunday and you look at a game, how do you balance, you know, the things you guys did right to score 40+ points and 500+ yards, and then take a look at, you know, maybe those couple red zone possessions
Yeah.
where you couldn't quite finish it? How do you balance?
I'm always critical, as the staff is too. We have to be better down there. We needed to be better down there. We needed to get some touchdowns and lack of execution, perhaps. I don't, different things happen, different games. But when you play some of these good offensive football teams and good football teams just in general, you can't squander those opportunities. You have to put the dagger in them and score touchdowns, and we gotta do our part doing that.
Kind of going back to the Oklahoma State game, you guys had the play action pass to Andrew for the touchdown off of the kind of the power
Sweet.
stretch with Sam. Do you like the fact that this offense is at a point now where maybe you weren't last year, where you can take a concept you're really good at down in that red area, and now you can build off of it
Yeah.
and do more things off of it?
Yeah, really, it's been that way in the whole offense, not just in that area, but even in other parts of our game, we've been able to do that. Because now all of a sudden, say, if you're running inside zone, now you can fake the inside zone and play action pass. But if you're not running the inside zone very good, they're not going to bite on it, And so I think all of that's tied into what's happening a little bit this year.
I'm sure you guys don't put too many expectations on the numbers for Sam to have, but has it surprised you at all that he's so quickly made the jump into the top tier quarterbacks in this conference?
I'll be honest, I don't know where he is in terms of all that. I mean, I talk to Sam all the time and just to be the best he can be. And my job is to prepare him to go out there and protect himself and know where to go with the football and play really hard, motivated, and lead our football team and make good decisions. So that part I'm really proud of him. The rest of those things, I guess they kind of come. It's like when your guys play really, really hard and they do everything right, the wins come. You know what I mean? So but I'm proud of him. I think he's worked really hard to get to that point. He studies the game. I give him that. He is a grinder.
Anything else?
Okay.
Cool.
All right,
Thank you,
man.
sir. Appreciate
You got
it.
Thank you.